Hello, humans. It's Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast, DC Comics Review Show number 142, the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. And with me, as always, is Josh.
Hey, everybody out there. Rob, hey, man, why doesn't Batman have any supervision?
Oh, God. Because he doesn't have any parents?
Exactly, his parents don't. Poor guy.
God damn it. I don't know what's worse, that joke or the fact that I figured it out.
I say, you ever notice that there's only one eye in Nick Fury?
Is that why he's so mad?
Could be.
Just furious. No. Okay. Anyway, that's enough bad jokes for one show. I say that, but let's face it, it's gonna happen.
For now, anyway.
We're the only two here. It's going to be full of bad jokes. Not to say that Brandon doesn't give his fair share. And speaking of Brandon, he's off being another dope-ass musician yet again. He is doing a sits probe. If y'all don't know what that is, I love that word, sits probe. It's a rehearsal for an amazing show, and he is in the orchestra, I think, right now, playing, what is he, drums in the orchestra, I assume?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, so he's
off.
Him,
it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be. You could play the flute for all we know. I don't know. Saxophone, xylophone. I play the xylophone. It's fun. I wouldn't dock him for it. I could see him playing a hell of a xylophone.
Yep. And then after they're all done, it's Thor's Day, man. Time to get hammered.
Exactly. Get that mead going. Where the hell was I? Right. So he's not here right now, so you got just us. But luckily, it's a very small week. We only got 3 books to talk about. And if you do want to talk to us about it directly, you can get in touch with us, as you know, by sending us an email to comics@notarobotpodcast.com. And you can talk to us on Twitter @notarobotcomics, Instagram @NARComicBooks. And you can talk to us on Discord. We're by visiting buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast, you can get access to that server and chat with us whenever the hell you like. Wherever the hell you like, too. Who knows? If you want to do it on a plane, do it in the washroom, do it not while you're driving. Okay, that's a bad idea. Don't do it while you're driving. But if you're a passenger, I guess I do it on the bus. I do it on the bus a lot. Where do you do it? I know, that's a loaded question. Hey, Josh, I can't hear you, bud.
Oh, yeah, loaded question. But the answer, wherever I can, man. Wherever I can.
And that's a loaded answer. All right, so for the books today, we are looking at Batman Inc. number 7, Wildcats number 6, and Lazarus Planet, Revenge of the Gods number 3. To this day, I still do not, and we'll never know why it's called Lazarus Planet. It's not part of the events. It's barely tied to it. Just call it, I don't know, Revenge of the Gods. You don't even have to put another pre-name to it. Tie a character. I was going to say Wonder Woman, Revenge of the Gods, but Shazams are involved too, so who knows? Just Revenge of the Gods is fine. But I digress. I am not an editor at DC. War of the Gods would, War of the Gods would be cool. Yeah. I was just about to say something weird, and I stopped myself, realizing what I was trying to say. Which is both weird and makes me feel old at the same time. The comics events these days have lost that je ne sais quoi they used to have 10 years ago. Which is just such a... I feel like that's not something any comic fan should say.
Je ne sais quoi? I know I don't.
uh, I don't want to compare comics events now, and oh god, I just made myself feel older. 10 years ago was Forever Evil.
Yep.
Oh my
Hmm.
god. I was thinking 10 years ago was like Infinite Crisis. No. It's getting close to
Nope,
20
not
years
even
ago.
close, man.
Jesus. Time flies, eh?
Super old.
Uh,
No.
I was in high school when Infinite Crisis came out, man. What the hell happened?
What the hell happened?
I don't know. Time, age, it happens. I don't even want to think about how old Brandon was when Infinite Crisis came out.
Yeah, I don't either because it'll just bum me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Uh, as well as those books, we do have, as usually, some honorable mentions because there were only about 7 8 books came out this week. It was pretty light week.
It really was a pretty light week,
Yeah,
man.
I could have sworn there was supposed to be some bigger books coming out this week too, but because I check every week when I look at the next week's books, I'm always for some reason I always look at the following month's books on League of Comic Geeks, and I see there's this to look forward to this next week, and I'm like okay, like every week in April has something very big and interesting happening, but apparently this week is nothing huge, so I don't know. Maybe something changed, or maybe I'm just mistaken. I don't know.
Well,
That being
when you look at
said,
all the weeks
speaking of
upcoming,
things that are huge, hell of a transition. Let's talk about news. Yeah, there's surprisingly a lot of news came out in the past week. A lot of it in the past couple of days. Do you want me to go first? Kick things
well,
off, or
I
you want
mean,
to go first?
I've got very little. I know right before we started recording, Rob and I got our pre-orders in on the uh,
Yeah.
very limited run of the DC Rebirth DC Multiverse Flash. It is a big boy toy store exclusive. There are only 3,000 of them made. It is hand painted black and white with yellow accents, and it looks freaking awesome.
It does.
Um, we have a spin-off from Mark Waid's World Finest that's coming, World's Finest Teen Titans, and it's gonna, go back to the OG Teen Titans with Dick in charge. So that should be interesting, and it's making me wonder if we're not going to continue to see more OG titles set back in the day that will allow people to read whatever kind of comic that they're into. And then
Yeah.
finally, the last thing that I got is the voice cast for Creature Commandos coming up, at least as far as I know. What we have is Sean Gunn as Weasel again and G.I. Robot, Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., Maria Bakalova as Princess Ilyana Rostovic, Indira Varma as the bride, Zoe Chow as Nina Mazursky, Alan Tudyk, who everybody should be happy to see in here, is
Oh
Dr.
yeah.
Phosphorus. David
Hell
Harbour
yeah.
from loads of cool shit is Frankenstein, with Steve McGee reprising his role as John Economist from The Peacemaker. And I really like that character.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
of
he
course,
was a
they're
hoot.
going to be. Say again?
He was a hoot on that show, and in the
Oh,
Suicide Squad.
he for sure was. Um, and then, of course, Viola Davis will be voicing Amanda Waller, who is in charge of the Creature Commandos. And man, that's all the comics news that I was able to scrape up this week. It's been busy. The kids have kept me busy. I've been working on my little diorama for my action figures. Been having a lot of stuff going on. But
That
I
looks
hear
great.
big things in the way of news.
Before we continue, it's something I haven't really thought about yet. Um, is Rick just? I might be having a brain stall right now. Is Rick Flag running the Creature Commandos, right?
It'll be Amanda Waller.
All right, but who was the government? I guess government agent, the field team leader, or whatever. Is
No, the
Rick
field
Flag
team
in
leader.
that
That's
cast?
I. Yeah, it'll be Rick Flag. Yeah,
Rick Flag. And who wasn't he the one that died in the Suicide Squad? Or am I
that's his
confusing?
son, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's better than my thought. I was thinking if it was the same character, then Creature Commandos they're re- reinvigorating Rick Flag. They're bringing him back to life, and he's also technically going to be a creature. But if it's not, then that makes sense.
It's listed as senior on wherever the hell I was just reading
Yeah, fair
it.
enough. That makes sense. Even the it makes more sense also looking at the preview images, the stills. It looks
Yeah.
like an older character as well, so that makes more sense. That'd be his father or something. All right, fair enough. Gonna piggyback off your news about Mark Wade bringing us world's finest Teen Titans, which is freaking awesome. Did you mention the artist, by the way?
Oh, I did not. Emanuela
Emanuela
Lupacino, right?
Lupacino. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be great. I'm sad to not see Dan Mora on the book because I loved his artwork for the Teen Titans in
Yeah,
World's
but
Finest. But I'm excited
fucking
for Emanuela Lupacino still.
yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Lupacino is one bad mamma jamma, so that works
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. So in addition to World's Finest Teen Titans, Mark Wade also announced a three-issue Black Label miniseries that he's working on with Brian Hitch. That Brandon says is has been a long time coming. I was not aware of this before, but Brandon is very on the know about a lot of upcoming books. So I will definitely take his word for it that it most likely has been in the works for a while and is finally being released, and that is titled Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor. It is a story where Lex is dying, and despite their differences, Superman does everything in his power to find a cure to save Lex from his unfortunate eventual disease filled death. And he traverses across space and time to find this cure. So it looks, while Lex Luthor is in the title, it is going to have some Lex Luthor in it, but it is heavily still a Superman story. Um, but I've recently I'm excited to see a Lex Luthor story at the same time. Like I've recently come out and just like I freaking love Lex Luthor as a character. I think he's a very interesting character and a perfect archetype or not archetype perfect antithesis to Superman. So I'm excited to see more stories about Lex Luthor, and this definitely sounds like one that'll explore the quote unquote relationship between Clark and Lex that I've always appreciated, and that depending on the writer, sometimes exists, sometimes doesn't. So we'll
Yeah,
see what happens
it
there.
is it does seem to be, all up to the writer there. And I don't have a
Yeah,
whole lot of faith in the upcoming, in the title that's ongoing now. But I do agree with you that Lex, though typically with paired with someone else, I think is truly Superman's greatest foe, usually manipulating two sides of the same coin to land the way he wants it to. That's when it's
yeah,
really good.
exactly. Uh, on that note, I'm going to turn it to a sadder one. Few weeks, maybe a couple of months ago, I don't remember exactly when, I brought up that it was announced that uh, I believe Doom Patrol writer. No, is it? Oh my god! Hang on a second.
Hanging,
Uh, Rob's messing up
hanging.
his speeches again. Yes, Doom Patrol writer. My mistake. I was second guessing myself. Doom Patrol writer Rachel Pollack has unfortunately passed away and succumbed to her disease. Um,
Yeah,
revolutionary
it's
writer,
been a long
realistically,
time coming.
transgender. I'll say transgender hero. Especially for her work on Doom Patrol and bringing transgender characters to the surface in comic books. I don't believe she was the first at the time, but definitely had an impact still. So it's a damn shame to see her pass away, especially due to a disease. I believe it was disease. Um, I mean, I don't remember what disease it was at the time. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, damn shame. Rest in peace. Damn, so many creators have been passing away recently. It's very depressing.
They really have.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah. Um, all right, so I hate to go from happy to sad to happy again, but on a more happy note, DC has detailed more information on the landmark Batman number 135, which legacy numbering is number 900. We've reached that point in Batman, and that's freaking awesome. Including, it's a 56-page book, and it includes a ton of variant covers, all of which look amazing. It is the next issue coming, and it is also the end of the Batman of Gotham story from Chip Zdarsky before we move on to other stories from Chip Zdarsky.
It
Uh,
seems like a lot to resolve in one issue, man.
yeah, but at the same time, like I said, it's 56 pages. So there are going to be
That's
some
true.
backup stories as well, obviously, as is the case with big issues like this. But at least there will be a bit more space for Chip to really flesh out the rest of his new universe, if you will, and finish off the story he's crafted. And the
Hmm.
covers on this, man, there's a connecting cover that drawn by Joe freaking Casada. It looks gorgeous, and it is just a look at
I haven't
all the
seen it yet.
different Batmans of here, I'll send it to you right now. All the different versions of Batman over the years. It's freaking amazing. Did it send? Oh, what the
I
hell?
don't see it.
Oh, hang on. That's weird. I have not done this on a computer in a long time. There we go. There's the image. It is
Oh
just
no, that's
gorgeous.
cool.
Yeah, and you can pinpoint. You can
Got
like
Nightwing, Batman in
pick out
there,
all
and
the
all
different
kinds of shit.
Batmans. Yeah. Wait, where did
Batmite,
you see
all of them.
Night?
Everybody's in there. Asbat,
Yeah.
awesome.
Where do you see Nightwing Batman? That's the one I didn't see.
In the front, the first Nightwing Batman with like the no ears.
Oh yeah, no, I guess that is, yeah. No, I always try to look for the belt buckle, but yeah. Yeah, he was one of the ones that had short ears. Yeah, they got even like TV and movies, they got Batman Beyond in there, they got animated series, they have Adam West, they even have the old 1940s serials Batman in the bottom left corner there. Just amazing.
Yep,
So many different versions.
it's
So it's
awesome.
really cool to see, and he did a very spot on rendition, I think, of Batman from the Long Halloween.
Yeah,
Just underneath
yeah, for
Batmite there.
sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a connecting cover, I think. Um, so it's two different covers in one big image, which is unfortunate. I would have preferred like a fold out cover, but I guess you take what you can get.
Well, you
Yeah,
could double the sales that way.
exactly. Yeah. There's even a gorgeous image from the late great Neil Adam, which might be the last
Oh,
Batman
sweet.
image we get from Neil Adam, which, as somber as it is also amazing to see. And one of my favorites that I'm looking at right now is Batman perched with his four sons, the four Robins, and each of them are in their Robin costumes at their respective ages of being Robin. So it's really cool to see. So this is gonna be a hell of an issue. I'm just looking now
Fingers
to
crossed,
see.
man. The story thus far has been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, fingers crossed. But I got faith in him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing that'll be exciting for you, and this is something I forgot. This issue also features the return of Jorge Jimenez on art.
Yeah, baby. Now that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. All
Yeah.
right.
It will
Oh
also
man.
include Mike Hawthorne and Mikel Janin. So you will still get the same art we've had thus far, but you will also get, I will say, at this point, legendary Batman artist Jorge Jimenez back on the
Jorge
book.
Jimenez and oh crap. Oh crap. Miguel Yanin.
Yeah.
Both of them are just amazing.
Oh, definitely. I honestly can't decide which I like more, but possibly Janine. But they both have their own style that complement each other very well. Um, yeah, I was trying to see if there was like who was writing any backups, but maybe I'm wrong, and there are no backups
Oh,
because I don't see anything about it here.
I
Yeah.
mean, it would make sense that there wasn't any backups. There is a lot of story left to tell.
Mm.
I wouldn't
Actually,
necessarily see a need for one.
no, I don't know what I'm thinking. We know there's at least one backup because they have to finish the Robin story as well. So there's at least that.
Yeah, I suppose you're right there.
Yeah.
Or it could come the next one. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
maybe.
it'll finish. This one has to. It's part of the same story.
Exactly. 56 pages. I think they have some space for 7 pages of Tim Drake.
Yeah,
All
I would
right.
think anyway.
Yeah. Unless they double size that one as well. Who knows? So another one that came out today. Uh, this is kind of funny. At least for Brandon and I, because a couple weeks ago we were talking about this, and I think Josh, I'm not sure if you have these as well, but back in 2009, Blackest Night was coming out, and DC ran a promotion for comic shops that for every 25 copies of certain books that were tie-ins, the comic shops could also order a bag of different colored lantern core rings, and
I remember
I
that.
yeah,
My
I
my
actually
brother
got
got them all
mine.
as they came out.
Yeah, I got mine at Fan Expo. They had them all there. I was ready to go by the time I left, and they did it again in 2013, and they're doing it again this May. Green Lantern
That's
number
awesome.
one comes with free Green Lantern rings for every 50 copies of number one ordered. The retailers will qualify to order one free bag of 50 rings. If there are differences from the previous versions of the rings, we don't know. I hope there's at least some kind of difference, but I really don't see that happening. Maybe they just
I don't know, man. I mean,
found
they're
a
gonna make
box
it
in the
some.
warehouse they forgot about.
They have to make it different somehow, or else
You'd
there's not
think.
going to be a reason for these things to even exist. If they
Yeah.
came out the exact same, they know that nobody's going to want them.
Yeah. I never know. It's been 10 years since they last did it. It was 2013 was the last time they did it. So people have either lost them or new readers want them. Who knows? Maybe they think there's enough new readers out there. I know I'm going to get it still. I already have like 2 copies of the green one, but I'm totally getting another one. I don't care. I'm looking
I
forward
don't
to
blame you.
this. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so there's that to look forward to. Next up, right? I sent a link to my own comment on Discord because I just had a screenshot of a text. Philip Kennedy Johnson is talking. This is not like an official announcement or anything, but he was talking in an interview or on a message board somewhere about his stories in Action Comics and coinciding with his future stories in Green Lantern John Stewart coming out later this year. That he's
Oh yeah.
basically spearheading the cosmic side of DC, and he's really fleshing. His whole plan is to flesh out the entire cosmic side of DC with these 2 books, and he's already done a lot with Action Comics, and he's going to be doing a lot more with Green Lantern John Stewart. um,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. The United Planets looks like it's going to be playing a big role in John Stewart's book as well. So we'll see what's going to happen and where Philip Kennedy Johnson's going to go with this. His world building in Action Comics was fantastic. And if
Oh
he's
yeah, it
going
was.
to just keep going with that and go right into Green Lantern, I'm so stoked. I've don't know if I've said it on the show, but I've talked with us amongst us for I was gonna say for years, but for a while now. Well, they've known you a couple of years. Um, that I wish DC would flesh out their cosmic side, and they have so much untapped potential in their cosmic line of characters that they just don't use, and the only ones they use is Green Lantern, and even recently that's been sporadic. So I'm so stoked to see Philip Kennedy Johnson actually touching it and giving us something. That's gonna be fun. And finally, DC
Hopefully,
today.
anyway.
Definitely hope so. Today, DC has revealed brand new details on the previously announced event Night Terrors, which is confirmed a horror event and is launching in July. It is, if I remember correctly, a 2-issue event, but also includes a number of tie-in miniseries, 2-issue miniseries, I'll say, each focusing on a different character. The basic plot of the story is new villain. Let's see if I can find his name. Holy crap, I thought it was up at the top. A brand new villain named Insomnia is basically breaking into the land of the living, they say, and putting heroes and villains and all sorts of characters alike to sleep and invading their dreams and making them live their worst nightmares. And only a couple of people are able to see just who the hell Insomnia is, try to figure out this mystery and how to stop it. And those people are Batman and Deadman. Of course, Batman, because he's Batman, and Deadman, which I think is very interesting. Insomnia may or may not be a character tied to the land of the dead, so Deadman will definitely be a welcome addition to that. It is written by Joshua Williamson and drawn by Howard Porter. It's an interesting team there. Uh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
a horror book as an event is a welcome addition. I think as far as horror events go, I want to say Metal was kind of a horror event.
I
But
mean, yeah,
beyond
for sure,
that,
it was
yeah,
definitely horror inspired. Death
yeah,
metal and
Death Metal
dark metal.
maybe. Death Metal I felt was a bit too bombastic to be horror inspired, but it definitely had some horror elements to it. Metal was definitely, I would say, horror inspired. And then we had Blackest Night, and I don't know how people feel about Metal. I thought Metal was a hit. It had some ups and downs, but I think Metal as a whole
Obviously, I
event was
enjoyed
pretty good.
metal. I have the whole damn
Yeah,
toy set. That's
exactly.
your fault.
Yeah. Um, and Blackest Night, of course, is still being talked about as one of the best DC events, and being a horror event itself definitely lends some credence to that. So I have high hopes for
Oh,
this
for
one.
sure.
Yeah. So it looks like DC and horror tend to mesh well. So I'm definitely looking forward to see where they'll go with this. Uh, as for the characters, I don't know that they list all of them, but you will see some mini-series, 2-issue minis from characters such as Poison Ivy, Joker, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Doctor Destiny, Punchline, and Black Adam. If you may have noticed that they are all villain characters, but I do believe some hero characters might be getting their own spin offs as well. So we'll see how that looks in July. Looking at some preview pages, it looks really cool. Looks like Howard Porter is really taking things to a whole new level for him. Uh, I'm stoked. I'm more familiar with Howard Porter and like simple espionage type books, so
Uh,
um, seeing him with some gruesome stuff, I'm very stoked. Uh, and
well,
this
the
this definitely
last
looks like it's
thing
going to
of
be gruesome in
note that he
places.
really did,
So let's do it.
yeah, the last thing of note that he really did was Endless Winter.
I keep
I mean,
forgetting
at
he drew
DC
that,
anyway.
man. I also keep forgetting Endless Winter happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
I
hard
didn't
to
hate
read.
it. It just wasn't memorable.
That's what I mean. It was just, I think it was supposed to be great, or at least a fantastic quick distraction until the next big event, but
Yeah.
it just kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it really was. Even the timing of that, the placement, I think it was. I think death metal was happening at that time, and it was right before they did the reset into Infinite Frontier, if I remember right. So, yeah, the timing on that was very notable, I would say. All right, so that's all I got for news. Guess you want to get into honorable mentions?
I think that we could do that. And man, this week's honorables, let me tell you what. Danger Street number 5. It's just not the kind of book that I'm into, but everyone else on the planet seems to love it. So I mean, take that for what you will. BTOS The Adventure Continues Season 3, Number 4. Of course, this is excellent. The new multiversity title hardly screws up the DCU. I think this run is going to be pretty damn fun. I'm 2 issues in and I'm into it, man. Superman Lost number 2. This is turning out to be a really good story. At least I'm really into it, and I would suggest checking it out. The first 2 issues for sure. And then finally, we got another Sandman universe, Nightmare Country, The Glass House number 1. It's another excellent entry into the Sandman universe, especially the Nightmare Country, and its latest incarnation, of one of which I am a huge fan of. And if you like horror, like we've been talking about here for just a minute, you should totally get into this because it's great. And I hope that we get some more of this in the future. The Nightmare Country and Sandman universe in general. That would be awesome. But that's all the honorable mentions I've got for us this particular week.
Right on. I don't know why that. I was trying to think when you said that's all the honorable mentions I've got. I was like, do I have any honorable mentions? But the only other thing I'm reading this week is Marvel. And that reminded me, I still have to pull the new Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 and check that out because that came out this week. And it looks freaking awesome.
I did
I
not
know.
know
I know
that,
you're
but
not a
it's
big
just
Marvel
in
reader,
time for the
Josh.
last movie to come out, right?
Exactly that's something Marvel has actually been really good at. It's something that James Gunn wants to get going with DC is having books about these characters be on the stands when the movie comes out. And it's something that Marvel has done for years, and I'm happy James Gunn is finally getting DC on that ball too. Because there's been a lot of moments you've had characters in movies and no book, and you're wondering what the hell's going on, but they decide to just re-release old versions of their stories, which is not all bad because they release good ones. But I would love to see new stuff. Um, yeah, I know you're not a big Marvel reader still, Josh, but I think you've been checking out a couple of things recently, no?
Here and there, I I was checking out stuff for a little while there when that Doctor Strange book was out and the Moon Knight run was kicking off, and I was reading a few then, but I've kind of fallen off for a
Yeah,
minute anyway.
fair enough. I still heavily recommend the new Fantastic Four. I've yet to see how other
Oh
people
yeah,
feel
that's
about
right. I
it,
forgot you told me to get
but
that.
I'm loving it. It's very classic. I need to like see what other Marvel fans are saying about books besides Spider-Man because that's all I see Marvel fans talk about is complaining about Spider-Man. But I've been out of the Marvel loop for a long time as well, and I'm slowly getting back into it myself. I've got a few books in my pull list that I'm checking out, like Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and I just want to see what other people are thinking about it. but I just haven't seen many people talk about these books. Maybe I just gotta look a little harder. I don't know, but I want to hear some thoughts. Uh, Maybe one day. But that's also cute, listeners. Like, tell me what you think of these books too. What are your thoughts on Marvel these days? I want to hear. Send us those questions. Send us those emails. I want to hear your thoughts about stuff. Um, that being said, do you want to do a quick commercial break? Oh, I think you're muted again, boss.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agreed with you. Let's go ahead and take that commercial break.
All right, we'll be back. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with Not a Robot. I was feel awkward with it return. I feel like I know podcasts are glorified radio, but I feel like I'm doing a radio show. It's not quite the same because we know you haven't gone anywhere. You just listened to the ad for a couple of minutes and then you came back. Nothing wrong with that. I'm
Maybe they
happy.
didn't.
Oh,
I mean,
maybe.
it's my voice. I'm all by myself. There's a chance I scared them off. But if we did not, I appreciate that. And so do all
Definitely.
of us.
Exactly.
For having nerves of steel.
The wholly forgotten power of Superman, nerves of steel,
And
and amongst many other forgotten superpowers, like telepathy. Which,
the
if you
ability
didn't know,
to mate with mermaids.
I can't tell if that's real or not. The Silver Age was a
Yeah,
really messed up time.
it happened in Frank Miller's Superman.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was
Yeah.
really hoping it was Silver Age.
No,
Oh,
no,
for fuck's sake.
not Silver Age.
God
Not at
damn it.
all.
Well, shit. Still, the
Isn't
Silver
that a
Age was a
bitch?
wild time.
Oh,
Jimmy
indeed.
Olsen was a lizard creature. Lois Lane had.
At one
I was
point,
going to say Lois Lane had superpowers, but she had superpowers more modern day too, so it's not much of a stretch.
Supergirl used to do it with a horse.
Okay, heck, huh? Wait, what?
You know how all the superheroes have their pets that are like sidekicks, right?
Yes, we all remember. Oh no, Stricky was the cat, but I remember the super horse.
All right. Well, the super horse's name is Comet, and his
All right,
original
comment.
introduction was that he's Comet the horse, but he's also a man. He's a man that was changed into a horse, or he's a horse that changes into a man. And anyway, in man form, Supergirl hooks up with the dude, right?
What
But
the
he's a
fuck?
horse, and it's her pet horse. To make it weirder, her pet horse turns into a dude, and she does it with him. Brown chicken, brown cow, no horse.
Like I said, folks, the Silver Age was a really messed up time.
Fucking A.
Holy shit! When Batman is the least weird book in your line at the time, you gotta start questioning things.
Right? And that's talking about a grown ass man that brought in like a 12-year-old to help fight crime and stand
Yeah.
out in the dark with bright ass colors and be a decoy. I mean,
Yeah.
everything was weirder than that.
I'm trying to remember now if I'm pretty sure it was Ripping Friends that had it was Man and Boy, and I think it was that where they parodied Batman and Robin, and they said the whole
Hmm.
reason Boy wears bright colors is so he is
Boy.
more noticeable to the villain, so he takes all the brunt, and Man can just come in and sweep up after.
Naturally.
Yeah,
It's the Batman way.
Robin and Boy are just the targets. Batman and
Boy Wonder
Man.
and Boy.
Yeah. If you'd ever watched The Ripping Friends, that was also a messed up show, but it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we
Anyway.
should stop going on tangents and maybe get into some books. After all,
But
that's why
tangents
people are
is
here
what we
listening
do
to us.
best.
It really is. It really is. But still, people are here to listen to us talk about books. At least I hope, because that's what we're here
And
for.
but I digress.
Yeah. Am I? I don't notice it when. I know I say it a lot. Do you guys? Do you and Brandon say it a lot too? I think Brandon does.
Yep, we all do.
Yeah, we all do. Okay.
We all do. I don't say it
Oh
as
man.
much as the two of you, to be honest, but yeah, we're all pretty guilty. But I
Yeah.
digress.
But I digress. Fair enough. Okay, so we are starting our reviews of the week with Batman Inc. #7, and this is written by Ed Brisson with art from Michelle Bandini, colors from Rex Locus, letters from Clayton Cowles, and a very nice looking cover from John Timms. I say nice looking cover, but also very bloody looking cover. After all, Professor
Yeah,
Pig is on it.
I want to say I love the color. Everything on it on its own is great, but like all of the elements together make me wonder what the fuck is going on there.
Yeah, like that's I
Like some
had
of
to
the
put that
angles don't
asterisk
seem
on it.
right. It's very strange.
I would question why Ghostmaker is upside down, but that also seems like a thing Ghostmaker would do. He does everything Batman does, but with more style. So
Enough.
at least I hope so. I mean, as soon as you get to the first page, he's kicking somebody in the face on his left with his right foot, while El Gaucho is just on the ground punching people in the face. So he definitely adds a lot more style to things. Um, yeah, so
Oh,
that
for
starts
sure.
off our issue in, I'll say, a very fantastic way. So Ghostmaker and El Gaucho, Gau- Gaucho, I don't know why I'm saying Gaucho, Gaucho, are
I do
breaking
too.
into Professor Pig's. I don't think it's his lair, but at least where he's keeping the other villains prisoner.
Well, it's
But
always, you know, where
yeah,
your home is where you hang your hat. I mean, that's what I'm
pretty
saying.
much, exactly, and your villains. It's where you hang
Of
your
course.
enemies to. Yeah,
And your weird ass, creepy dolls.
yeah. Speaking of dolls, there's a lot of Dollatrons in a barn somewhere near Bloodhaven, where Professor Pig is attacking the two young boys that stole his mother. I feel dirty saying that because it's also a doll, which suspiciously looks like, at least to me, looks like, and I can't remember the freaking character's name. It was a villain, and his whole shtick is that he can bend and twist himself in weird ways. And he was in the
Uh,
Flash for a couple episodes, and was easily the best villain in the whole show.
Gumby.
Yes, yes, it was Gumby.
Yes, it was Gumby.
Comes riding in on
The
Pokey.
Green Man, they called him.
I thought that was Charlie Kelly. No, man, what the hell's his name? Brandon would like. He's probably yelling at me right now. It's this guy.
Oh, I don't doubt that he knows. I'm
Yeah.
completely blanking on it.
Oh man, that's gonna bug me. But he's a contortionist. Is basically what he's a villain that's a contortionist, and he steals things, and he's really creepy. It looks a lot like that guy. I'm sure people listening know who I'm talking about and are yelling at their phones right now. Rob, you idiot! It's this person. Uh,
Rob, you idiot. It's Gumby.
this is Gumby. It's gonna bug me. But as I said, I digress. Um, Ragdoll. Ragdoll is his name.
Ah,
You sound like it doesn't ring a bell.
not at all. I
Okay.
could have swore it was something else.
Fair enough. But to me, this doll looks a lot like Ragdoll. After all, doll is in the name of Ragdoll. But this Ragdoll does not move whatsoever, at least by the end of this story. Spoilers. Uh, um, but I digress. So Professor Pig is attacking these kids, yet Batman Inc. is on the case, and they have arrived to stop Professor Pig using his uh, the pig chainsaw. Does he name his chainsaw? It's his chains. It's
I
his
don't think so.
his chainsaw, his Texas Massacre chainsaw.
I
Um,
feel like if he named it, it would be something like Face Shaper.
Face that, yeah, I was gonna say slaughterhouse tool or something, but no, yeah, face shaper is actually a lot better. That makes more sense for Professor Pig. Uh, Jiro uses his. I wish I knew the name of this actual weapon, but I failed because I don't. His stringed baton, a screama stick that he stole from Nightwing with a rope attached to it. I know there's a real name for it. Attaches it to the
Yep.
chainsaw and uses it as a swinging weapon. And swings that chainsaw around like a lasso. It's fantastic. He is badass. And yes, I will continue to call him Jiro because it's so much easier than saying Batman of Japan. Uh, Dude needs a new name because Batman of Japan is a bit of a mouthful, really. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So Batman Inc. tidy up, and they're
Sorry, I was
slowly
just
taken
having a
down.
coughing fit. I muted myself.
Oh, no worries. No,
It's not just you.
okay, fair enough. Still, the Batman of Japan is just it's a long title. I agree with Ghostmaker early on. Get a new name. Uh,
I feel like Batman of Japan and Batman of China need new names. And
yeah, I
also,
mean,
since we're doing that, Superman of China needs a new name. Like,
yeah.
that's
I mean, oddly
it's
enough,
so
I'm
weird
not
to say of.
so yeah. I'm not so against Superman of China because I don't know that anybody calls him Superman of China. They just call him Superman, much like they call John Kent Superman, right? But Batman of
Okay,
Japan is like literally kind of part of his name. It's not like
Batman of
people in
Japan.
Japan call him Batman of Japan. People in Japan call him Batman, but people outside of Japan call him Batman of Japan. It is just not necessary. Batman of China, though,
Agreed.
is just kind of a. When I was looking at all the characters' names earlier today, like, is a bit of a fine line because it. And this. If Kirk's listening, he might laugh at this. There's a hyphen in between bat and man, so it's bat hyphen man. Uh, so I
Right.
don't know if that counts as different, even though you still say it as Batman, but it's technically different at the same time. I don't know.
Nonsense.
It's the subtle difference between Spider-Man and Spiders Man. One has the powers of a spider. One is a number of spiders with the power of a man.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Let's see, where were we? Right, Jiro was swinging around a chainsaw like a badass. And together they take down the Dolatrons and rescue the two lads
Creepy
and
ass looking
escape.
Dolatrons. Fuck
Oh, God, yeah.
robots.
Yeah. I mean, are they even robots? I thought they were real people that Professor Pig just fucked
Oh,
up.
yeah. Well, yeah, they are real people. My bad. There's robots later.
Man, that's messed up. That's really messed up. Anyway, they head outside to find Knight and Grey Wolf waiting for them, and they join the squad in helping take down more Dolatrons that are giving chase. Uh, as excuse me, Clown Hunter brings the two
No.
boys to the road and gets them to freedom and safety, telling them that when they get back home, they better thank their friend Ava because she's the only reason that they are alive. And hopefully, certainly, they do when they make it back to Bloodhaven. Meanwhile, back at Professor Pig's other lair, who knows how many layers this guy has, Ghostmaker and El Gaucho are looking at their new prizes as like a good number of Batman's Rogues Gallery is just hanging from chains, waiting to be caught or freed, whichever happens first. But as we know now, it's technically both, but caught first. Ghostmaker does get a little serious because he just looks at all these villains chained up, ready for the slaughter, and thinks hundreds, maybe thousands of people have died, and how many would be saved if just none of them were to walk out of there. but El Gaucho begins to talk him down, and Ghostmaker just makes it seem like he maybe doesn't care right now about Batman's no killing rule. Understandably
He's
so.
definitely unimpressed with it anyway.
Yeah. Professor Pig, meanwhile, is just a little at his own hands right now. He's very, very, very distraught that his plans are being ruined. He grabs a
Hmm.
butcher's knife and also grabs. Oh, God, I'm getting confused with all names. Clown Hunter. There's a lot. There's speaking of names. There's also a lot of names that are just like verb, adjective, or noun, verb, and it's really like Ghost Maker, Clown Hunter. Like that, you were right.
Red
Tiny
Raven.
needed to make up some better names.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
Clown
sucks at
Hunter.
making names.
Clown Hunter is now captured by Professor Pig with the butcher's knife to his neck. Uh, but Red Raven decides to grab the chainsaw that Jiro has let go and holds it to Mother, I guess, Professor
Hmm.
Pig's mother, and threatens to cut Mother into sawdust. I really hope I'm not the only one that sees Ragdoll there, but we'll see. Let me know if you also think that's Ragdoll for some reason. Please, I'm dying to know. Speak
If who is Ragdoll?
the mother, Professor Pig's
Oh
mother.
no, Mother's not Ragdoll.
I mean, it
Mother
looks
Mother
just like Ragdoll.
is Mother is just something that Pig builds and makes all of the people that he kidnaps look like, because
Oh
that's
goodness.
perfection.
Ugh. God, the
Yeah.
more I find out about this character, the worse it gets.
Hello, Mother.
Yeah.
Fucking Norman Bates in a pig mask.
Seriously. Yeah. Uh, I think that was something I did know before, but I just forgot because I like to forget things about Professor Pig.
I don't
This man
blame you.
is
He's one
disturbing.
nasty bastard.
Oh, hell yeah.
One nasty bastard.
Yeah. So, with that threat on his lap, he instantly lets Clown Hunter go um, and just decides to give up. All the Dolatrons lay down and surrender, and Clown Hunter repays in kind by kicking Professor Pig swiftly in the face, uh, ending that basically. We head back to where Ghostmaker and El Gaucho have the villains tied up, and we find out that Ghostmaker did not go through with murdering each and every single one of them, but instead followed El Gaucho's advice and called in the Bat family in Gotham, where they are going to take the villains straight to Blackgate and find a place there for them that they never will leave. But Ghostmaker does have a promise for Nightwing that if any of them escape and if any of them kill again, know that it all could have ended that day at Ghostmaker's hands, and whatever happens would be on Nightwing's head. To which Nightwing's a
Yep.
bit perturbed by that, but he just agrees. Noted. Because Ghostmaker is a bit of an intense fella, let's face it.
Well, yeah,
Meanwhile,
but I mean,
in
he's you know
Bloodhaven.
he's got his method, and technically he's not wrong. If
Yeah,
he just killed
realistically.
all of those villains, there would be no more villains, or at least those villains, to do the things that they have done.
Exactly. Yeah, like we don't necessarily need to agree with death and murder, but man's also got a point. You can't deny the logic. Uh,
Right?
yeah,
I mean,
uh,
simply looking at it from a numbers game.
exactly. Mathematically, the math is sound.
According to
Spiritually,
Spock,
the
yeah,
math is horrible. Exactly.
the
Yeah,
needs of the many surpass the needs of a few.
exactly. God, what a profound character.
I
Yeah.
don't think
So a
that was
little.
exactly it, but pretty close anyway.
Yeah. I think you're definitely in the ballpark. Uh, so a little while later, in Bloodhaven's sanctuary, Clown Hunter, in his civilian as gear. I guess just himself, not his
as
superhero
Bao.
identity.
Hmm.
As Bao, yes. Goes to visit Marv and George's Pizza, which it looks like character that looks a lot like George Perez is serving with the pizza there today. It was very touching to see. I really like that.
Didn't
Gets a
even
slice of
notice
pizza.
that.
I, I I didn't notice it at first, but I looked at it like, oh shit, that kind of looks like George Perez, which was really
Yeah, it
cool.
does.
I was also just really excited to see Marv and George's Pizza. I think that's fantastic.
Right.
Uh, all right, so
Hell of an
Bao gets a
homage.
slice of pizza and posts up at a picnic table to get a look at the two boys he saved, and sees that they're still kind of dealing with being almost slaughtered by Professor Pig, but instead is met by Anna, who thinks Bao looks kind of familiar, but he brushes it off with a "No, I don't think you know me." Um, Not Anna, sorry, Ava.
Yeah.
They have a little chat, and Ava says, if you ever need a place to stay, Sanctuary is a hell of a place to be. It's pretty awesome for people like us. Um, and Bao says, one day, maybe, but right now, I can't. I have somewhere else I have to be. And he heads back to Phantom 1, I believe is the name of Ghostmaker's jet, where
No.
he.
Icon.
Sorry.
I know
That, no,
Icon is the
it's an
AI.
AI. Yeah.
Phantom One was his first sidekick,
There's a
though.
sidekick. Okay.
I can't
You
remember
know
what the
what?
hell the name of the bed
The
is.
ghost plane. I'm just gonna call it
S-
that.
Sounds
I
like a
I
space
thought it had
ghost.
a name, but oh god damn it.
What's that?
The
What's
invisible
wrong?
jet no. The
Oh,
the Krypton Ruck no. The bat plate no. The flash
we're
buggy
just gonna
no.
call it Space Ghost.
There we go.
Space
Does it
Ghost.
go coast to coast?
Of course it does.
Yeah, hell
It
yeah.
goes all over the world.
Hell yeah. All right, so in the hell yeah, Space Ghost. I like it. Uh, Bao meets up with. Oh, hello, antivirus. But was that even antivirus?
No, that was my Alexa going off. I forgot
Oh,
to mute her.
hello, Alexa. So in the Space Ghost, Bao has met up with Ghostmaker yet again to basically, um, no, it wasn't him. It was Ghostmaker asking for Bao, who wanted to say good work and thank you for what you did, knowing that Clown Hunter was the one that solved the mystery as to where Pig's location would be, and basically
Definitely odd
congratulated
behavior
him.
for Ghostmaker.
Yeah, he's definitely growing, which I can appreciate. But then he looks at the news, and it's nothing but bad news. There's many people dead due to many criminals, and some have escaped. And he just looks extremely pissed off. Uh, Meanwhile, Red Raven is calling his dad, as we saw at the beginning of this adventure, which I believe was last issue, just to check in, say, I'm not going to make it home this time. We have to go off to another mission, but I'll come home soon. And his dad, being also having been a hero in the past, uh, knows the
The
life that
original
comes with it.
Raven, or Red Raven.
Exactly.
Raven
So
Red.
he's not really upset by this. He knows the life, and he knows that his son will come visit him soon. But as they get off the
I dig
phone,
it. It's all good.
yeah, at least well, it was for a couple of seconds, because as they get off the phone, he is met with a number of gunshots straight to the chest, and we see Dusty Bronco, a member of Joker Inc., has murdered the Red Raven Senior in cold, metallic blood. And
A
next issue,
member
we will
of
see
what?
more of Joker Inc. So, I'm liking this build up with Joker Inc. It does feel kind of silly on the surface and compared to Batman Inc., but also it's kind of the thing that it was bound to happen if you think about it, and the ramifications are pretty friggin' wild. Like, who's funding them if they're even getting funding? Like, who are all these people? Where did they come from? Why are they all like Joker? There's so much
I mean,
story to be
we don't
talked
know
about
how
here.
many there are and
Exactly.
whatnot. Yeah, I can tell you that the potential for Joker Inc. to be the thing that drives Ghostmaker to break his promise to Bruce is pretty high, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
But when he breaks his promise, does he break it using Batman Inc. to go after Joker Inc. and be okay with murder? Does he go completely rogue and Batman Inc. Gets set out to stop him? Does he take the fight to the Bat family when they interfere with him killing the bad guys or when they go after him because he already has? I mean, there's
Mm.
so many different things that could happen because of this. And they're
Yeah.
definitely setting up Ghostmaker not liking this promise thing.
Definitely, yeah. There's there's so many ways the story can go, and so many different aspects to it that we haven't even realized yet. It's going to be an
Yeah,
exciting
yeah.
story arc for sure, and I think following the story with Professor Pig, which I also enjoyed, is a very welcome thing. I'm also happy to see other members featured. We saw some stuff about Red Raven. We saw his family history. We saw his personal life a bit, and I appreciate that. The first story arc, okay, like
Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed that Ghostmaker was front and center, but if you're gonna make the team leader, the lead character in the first arc, I get it, uh, just to get the ball rolling, and then we have other characters featured throughout. I'm more than okay with that. Um, the
Yeah,
art was
yeah. I mean, you
great.
almost have to be.
Yeah, yeah, the art was great. The story was interesting. I'm excited to see where they go with Joker Inc. And I'm very excited we get to find out just 4 weeks from today. That is Batman Inc. number 7, 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, yeah. And Brisson has me like full on all the way in on this, dude. I've enjoyed it since I've enjoyed it since issue number one. Joker Inc. I mean, it could end up being really bad. It could also end up being some of the best shit out there. Um, I I don't know. I don't really know what it is. You know what where it's gonna go. So I can't say that I don't like it, but I can say that though it might be great, it could end up being like really bad. Uh,
Yeah.
that said, I did say the exact same thing about the Deathstroke book he wrote, and it ended up easily being one of my favorites from the past years. So I mean, who knows? Maybe I need to say that about more of the books he writes. Um, and with Raven Red Senior getting shot, I think Raven Red is about to become a bigger player in the book, which is cool. Bandini and Locust, they do a really, really good job here. It's gorgeous throughout. There's barely a thing I could point out as not amazing. There are a few things that I wasn't a fan of, but not much at all, though. And honestly, why a whole squad of the Bat family showed up to just pick up the bad guys when the police could have been called was kind of weird. But I mean, altogether, this issue was really good, and I hope that the next issue can continue this role with whatever Joker Inc. might turn out to be. I gave it an 8.75 out of 10.
Right on. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
I knew there was
I thought
something
so.
about that scene that was bugging me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, like, why didn't they just call the cops? Maybe they figured, like, there's a lot of strong villains here that might need more backup,
Or
but
I
it
mean,
seemed
or
kind of
like
weird.
one Bat family member to hold the shit down while while the cops showed up. I mean, they're
Yeah,
already fucking tied up. I mean, shit.
exactly. uh, yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, so we are moving on to our next book, which is Wildcats number 6, brought to us by Josh. Sir, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily say that it's brought to us by me. I am. Uh-oh.
Oh,
I am having some internet issues. That is
that's not good.
very odd. Well, anyway, give me just a second here while I pull this up because it looks as though I forgot to write down the creative team. I pulled a Rob.
It's been a while for me.
It has been a while. But I'm flipping, I'm flipping, I'm flipping. Let's go all the way to the end. All right. That only took way too long. But written by Matthew Rosenberg with art from Steven Segovia and Tom Derenick, colors from Elmer Santos, and letters from Ferran Delgado. And the cover was also by Segovia and Santos. So, um, book starts out. Marlowe is playing golf and starts getting questioned by none other than America's second favorite journalist, Clark Kent. The first, of course, being Lois Lane. Marlowe gives an unsatisfying blanket answer and drives off with Halliday in a golf cart, who lets him know that the Void approves of his actions. But Marlowe isn't exactly thrilled that the Void isn't talking to him anymore. Then we flip to Lady Tron, who is at a BDSM club, who doing her normal thing. When
Yeah.
none other than Cole Cash, the grifter, comes knocking on the door, I would have put money on his quick return. Cole and Lady Tron hug, and then Cole does what he does best: ask some questions, say some things, and consider it a plan. Zealot, Fairchild, Warblade, Backlash, and Pike break into some place, immediately get met with a metric assload of gunfire. Meanwhile, Cole and Ladytron, aka Maxine, is in his ear. He has broken into Halo to steal the Deathblow program, and that's when Spartan shows up. Grifter socks Spartan, and that's when he realizes that Spartan is an android. Ouch. It's a little too late after you punch a giant piece of metal. Back to the
That's a
team
broken
fighting a
hand.
bunch of robots that look just like their robots. Toyman is there, and the robots are trying to protect him, but the team is being refused an answer as to what their mission is supposed to be, considering Toyman works for them and the robots are the exact same. They they aren't being told by Maxine or anyone else, but Toyman will tell them. Halo Corporation hired him to make Spartan and then fired and decided that he knew too much about the stuff that he invented. Huh. That's, I mean, no shit. Who would have thought of
That seems
that?
bullshit.
Backlash tries to settle everyone down, and Pike says, "Nope, time to choose. You go with Halo or you're with Zealot." Fairchild starts the fight by fucking Pike up because he called her Zealot. And then it's on. Zealot and Fairchild make quick work of everyone. They get one more warning from Maxine to stand down, and then Spartan speeds in and takes them both out with a double clothesline. Back to Clark Kent, who is eating a cheeseburger. Batman shows up in full costume and sits with him and eats French fries while he's telling Clark to leave the whole Halo thing around because he's on top of it. Um, that's not weird at all.
Yeah, no.
Batman just sits down at a restaurant, starts eating French fries, talking to Clark Kent. Um, right on. Back to Maxine, who calls to. Maxine calls out to the Void and tells her that Zealot and Fairchild were killed on their mission tonight. I guess Spartan did some damage, like all the damage. She's told that she's the only one left of her team. Turns out that Spartan didn't kill them at all and brings them to Ladytron. Ladytron's been able to hack all the nanotechnology in their bodies, so Halo is no longer able to track their vitals and locations, etc. Um, anyway, turns out the Spartan didn't kill them at all, brought and in fact brought them to Ladytron, and that's because she uploaded Deathblow into Spartan, so they're in control now. And Halo thinks everyone but Ladytron is dead. There's one person missing from this not quite dead team, and that is, of course, Grifter. He is out meeting with the Void and just being regular Cole when the Void takes her helmet off and asks why he came there. Grifter said not to ask questions and then blew her fucking head off. He radios Maxine to tell her. She freaks out, saying that the Void can't die, and that's when the Void starts glowing. Grifter says he might have fucked up, and then we see quite the Void like explosion. And that's where we end it. This book is ridiculous. It is so good. It is absolute crazy Wildcats fun. If even if you're not a fan of the old stuff, this book is where it's at. You should get in on it. It might be considered a little slow going at first because you're just kind of thrown into things, but you real quick learn to pick up who's who and what's going on. Man, is it a fun book. The art is excellent. The story is jam packed full of plot and action. It doesn't feel rushed or crammed in either way, in any way either. And that is seriously important with so much going on. Rosenberg just kills it. Segovia, Derenick, Santos too. It's just such a great comic, man. Such a great story so far. I love it. 9.5 out of 10.
I 100% agree. I don't know if there's anything left to say about it that hasn't been said right now. It's the story is still fantastic. There's lots of dark humor mixed with good action and suspense. Boasts great art. There's nothing to not love here. It's just great. It's definitely a pick up and read book. 8.75 out of 10 for me for this one. Really enjoying it. Makes me want to go back and reread the old, or not reread, read the old Wildcat stuff, but I'm not sure if it is as good. I'll have to pick the brains of yourself and Brandon to see what you guys say
The
about
very
that.
first 12 issues, the very first 12 issues are really good. I read it all the way through. If you follow Grifter and the characters through everything that they've been through, shit gets a little weird. Grifter gets powers at one point, but it's a fun read. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's all Wildcats. But the best stuff is the first 12 issues.
Right on. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
what I'm saying.
Definitely, maybe I'll give that a shot. I'll check it out.
Totally should.
All
Everybody
right,
totally should.
definitely, yeah. Check it out. Especially this one, Wildcats, the current Wildcats, really fucking good. All right, that brings us to our last book of the week, Lazarus
Yeah, I
Planet.
mean,
Okay,
it's
so
only on issue 6. It's not that much of an investment to get caught up.
exactly, it really isn't. Um, and sorry, no, it's DC Universe. I'm looking at the cover right now. DC Universe Lazarus Planets, Revenge of the Gods, number 3. And we thought the annual titles were a mouthful.
Yeah, no shit. They're just
Yeah, really.
tacking on words at this point now.
Yeah. All right, so this as a main story with a backup, as we saw in the last 2 issues. The team for the main story is written by G. Willow Wilson with pencils from Emanuela Lupacino and Kyan Tormi, with inks from Emanuela Lupacino and Raul Fernandez. Colors from Jordi Belair and letters from Pat Brosseau, with a very cool looking cover from Guillaume March. The very, very skeletal Billy Batson and a very, very swole Wizard Shazam, which is
Yeah,
just weird to see. Um,
there's some shit that's out of proportion there.
Yeah. Which also, spoiler alert, that does not get brought up much in this issue, oddly enough. I don't think the Wizard
Nope, sure
Shazam is
doesn't.
shown at all, but we do see Billy, as we will find out soon. So,
Oh,
Revenge of the Gods
Billy.
Part 3 opens up with Goddess Diana back in Washington, D.C. to see the destruction that has been wrought from her choice to, for some reason, she chose this. I still don't understand why, despite the fact that in
Because of
her.
Themyscira. If the gods die, then Themyscira would have died too.
There's that, but the whole time she was making this decision, she was like, "Oh, I know Hera's tricking me. She can't be trusted." Oh my God, she tricked me! Like, come on. He just
Yeah,
told us you knew it
someone.
was gonna happen. I wasn't too happy about that part, but but I digress. That was a previous issue. This issue
But I
uh,
digress.
involves Diana dealing with her choices, uh, um, and just not happy with the destruction that has come from it. And I'm also having issues right now. Hold, please, while things decide to load for me. Keska fuck.
Yeah,
My internet better not be dying again, because that would suck.
that would suck indeed. I don't think anybody would be a big fan of it.
Nope.
I know I certainly wouldn't be because that would mean that I have extra editing to do.
Oh, yeah. And nobody needs extra editing on their hands. It's not
I
a
would
fun thing.
prefer not.
Yeah. All right, we're back. So, right. So Diana is reeling from the destruction caused from her choices to become a full fledged goddess. She flies down to the ground and begins to weep, knowing that this war, she does not want it to happen, but it must be fought, and it's pretty much her fault. Cheetah finds her, and together they uh, buck up a bit and try to not have Diana blame herself for everything going on. Uh, so they find a new resolve and go off to find out what to do next. Meanwhile, on Olympus, Billy, as normal Billy boy, is trapped in a dungeon-like cell. Um,
Oh, Billy.
oh, Billy, who's also kind of reeling from his own choices and kind of down on himself, thinking why did he think he could ever actually do this? And he should just let Mary take care of it. Screams out Shazam and transforms, but he is a weak and frail Shazam. Uh, Not as skeletal as we saw on the cover, but very thin to begin with. He sees a little mouse running down into the dungeons, and this mouse begins to speak to him. As it turns out, it is actually Hecate, who is not trying to trick him, and instead is trying to free him because she is one of the uh, goddesses that are against Hera and her nefarious plans. Yara Flor is not far behind and frees Billy, so the trio escape to the top, not before Hecate disguises Billy as a priestess, one of Hecate's priestesses, and the alibi is that Hecate is going to sacrifice this priestess for some reason. Uh, who knows? Just
Or
sacrifice. They're
another.
gods. It's what they do. Yeah. They head out to try and escape, but they almost immediately run into Hermes and Aphrodite, who are in a bit of a love thrall themselves. Um, they very easily spot the trio running out of the dungeons and begin to question what is going on. And Hermes begins to be taken by Hecate's priestess, which is really Billy in disguise. As Aphrodite notices this and starts yelling at Hermes yet again, "You were in love with me 2 minutes ago. What the hell, man?" And Hermes tries his best to double back and like, "Oh, but I am. You were the only
This
woman
don't
for
feel
me." Like,
right.
hey, you idiot.
What did
So
you
the
think was
trio
gonna
take
happen?
off. Exactly. They make it outside and are met by none other than Hippolyta herself, now with beautiful flowing angel wings, as she is the patron goddess of the Amazons. She is on Mount Olympus, fully fledged as a goddess herself. And we now know that Hecate is actually on Hippolyta's side and helped her escape as well, against Hera's wishes. Hippolyta uses her godlike abilities to bless Billy, freeing him from his priestess disguise and granting him the powers of Shazam yet again. Though, if it
Shazam,
is
Shazam,
all the powers of
Shazam.
Shazam remains to be seen, because honestly, in my view, it's not. I don't know. I feel like the wizard's the only one that could really grant that power, but she can at least grant him some
You would
strength.
think.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Washington, Diana and Cheetah are looking for their next steps, but the ground begins to quake as the various gods, including Hermes and many others, including some Pegasi, some centaurs, and a minotaur, are converging on their location, ready to fight. And as Diana and Cheetah prepare themselves for the coming battle, um, Etta, Siegfried, and Steve Trevor all arrive, ready to go. And Etta, I had to point out, is the first thing I thought of. Looks a lot like she's dressed like Han Solo there, and I very much appreciate it. White shirt, black vest, it just fits. Uh,
Yep.
so
Hey,
the
piece of trivia for you.
yeah,
Did you know that calling a horse with wings a Pegasus is actually incorrect? It's
is
just
it
a
now?
winged horse. Yep. Pegasus is one particular winged horse.
Oh, specific. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought
That's
that was just the
crazy,
type of
isn't it?
creature. Yeah. So I guess that
Yeah,
was
well,
just
yeah, it's everybody says that, just like
yeah.
everybody pronounces the T in often. It's supposed to be often.
Often. That just sounds weird. I gotta say often. God, I can't. I'm also somebody that says Wednesday sometimes because I hate saying Wednesday,
Wednesday.
knowing there's an e in there.
Yeah, my
uh,
oldest kid is the same way. It's like,
it's really
why do
weird.
we even say it like that? I don't know.
Yeah,
We just do.
Wednesday.
English is stupid.
Yep. All right, so that trio reunites with the duo, and they become a quintuplet of battle. But then our Mets quintuplet of battle.
Quintuplet of
That's
battle.
sounds awesome. Uh, they are Mets once more by Yara Floor and Shazam, Billy Bats and Shazam, and they become a septuplet of battle, and are ready to bring the fight to the gods. And bring the fight they do. Diana begins using her lasso against Hermes, swings him around like he's nothing. Because let's face it, he can just fly and he's really fast. Um,
Yep.
but is easily overcome by Minotaur and various other creatures. It's just the sheer numbers outweigh everyone else. I don't even know what the hell Etta and Steve Trevor are going to be doing here, apart from screaming things and shooting at them. Uh,
Right?
these are
Literal
gods,
cannon fodder.
pretty much. Didn't Steve have a
Hoping,
broken leg 2 issues ago? What happened to
I think so, yeah.
that?
I
Yeah,
don't know. The Themyscira purple laser shit. But
we'll go with
I
that.
mean, it happened off panel, of course.
Yeah,
It's,
always.
it's, I mean, it's at this point, Steve and Etta are essentially Robin in when he started out. You know, they're just someone to catch bullets.
Yeah, it's just not great.
No,
It's what every
it's kind
hero
of a shitty
needs, a
job
human
to
shield.
have.
Yeah.
That's what everyone
Yeah.
who's nearly invulnerable needs. Yes, yes.
I was gonna say it's a wonder how friggin' what's his name? Uh Jones over in Marvel is still alive, but he's died like 3 times.
Because comic books,
Because
they all
comic
die.
books, yeah. And he's been like every Avengers sidekick. He's been the sidekick of just the Avengers at one point.
That
uh,
tracks.
yeah.
That
So
tracks.
despite Diana being basically overtaken by a lot of creatures, she still has a hold of Hermes with her lasso. Yet Hermes figures if this lasso cannot be broken, then maybe it can be weaponized, and he electrocutes it, sending some swift energy straight down to Diana, causing an explosion, which Diana easily survives, but sends everyone around her reeling, both god and ally alike. The cloaked figure or hooded figure that has been present throughout the story arrives at where Billy Batson lands, offering some assistance and blocks an arrow, a golden arrow from some unknown archer. Um, is saying he's come to help. And as Billy says, by any chance, have you brought an army? And the cloaked guy says, I don't need an army, for Ares, god of war, is an army unto himself, and removes the hood to show off a shining, spanking, brand new armor. I totally know I said that wrong.
Yeah, but
Brand spanking new armor, yeah.
your comment
Sorry.
from last issue foretold of the prophecy. Ares is
Yes,
here. You
definitely.
said he was coming, and ta-da!
Yeah.
And it
I
makes sense that Ares would be on humanity's side because without humanity there would be no war, and that's where
exactly.
Ares gets his strength from, right? So,
Yeah.
oops, they didn't think that shit through.
And no. And who better to fight a war than the god of war himself? Like, if anybody's going to turn the tide of this battle, it's going to be Ares.
Yep, and
Though,
Hades is has been noticeably absent as well.
I mean, we do say that, but we will see in the backup, which is written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with pencils from Aletha Martinez, inks from Mark Morales and John Livesay, and colors from Alex Guimaras, with letters from Becca Carey. Simply put, back in Amazonia on Themyscira, the Themyscirans are fighting the good fight against the undead hordes breaching their shores from underwater, using various tools from their armory, magical, godlike tools that grant them various abilities, including healing and flight. They are all doing their damnedest to push back this horde, and push back they do. Yet none other than Hades, as you mentioned, is there, also present, and Queen Nubia tries to plead with him, but it's just not going to work. Philippus, meanwhile, is on the other side of Themyscira, praying at the altar of Hippolyta, where her statue commemorating her demise, really commemorating her life after her, you know what I mean, celebrating her life after her death. Um, he prays to the statue and offers herself as a sacrifice in order for Hippolyta to come back and help turn the tide of the fight. But Hippolyta arrives nonetheless, asking Philippus to stay her hand and not sacrifice herself because they are in love. And with a shared kiss and a wiping away of a couple of tears, Hippolyta says, the time to strike is now. I am waiting no more. And with her, she brings other goddesses that are on humanity and the Amazonian side, and that is Artemis, Hestia, Aphrodite, Demeter, and Athena herself, the basically patron saint of the Amazons. And
Yep,
these
the
five goddesses,
AKA the shit kicking squad.
yep, they're gonna take that shit kicking power straight to Hades and kick his demonic ass back to Tartarus. So together they head off to the fights. and they're pushing Hades back to the pits, which is Hippolyta's sheer cry for battle. That concludes that backup for now. Until next issue, where it is to be actually concluded later on. Great to see Hippolyta back in the fight. I'm very excited.
Yes.
I'm curious what's going to come of that. If she's going to have more of a role as maybe an emissary between the gods and Themyscira, or is she just going to go back to Olympus full time? Who knows?
Are all
I
the
did,
gods going to be gone on Mount
yeah,
Olympus? And
yeah.
will Hippolyta and these goddesses, Artemis, Demeter, will they be taking the place of Hera and Eros and the like?
It could very well be. Maybe we'll have a new head pantheon on Mount Olympus. This
Given
is
that
definitely something we could see.
the Amazons now have an embassy
Yeah,
in man's world, they may be able to prove to them that gods exist, which would bolster their strength as gods. Plus, those gods would be worshipped by all Amazons as well. So, I
yeah,
mean, potential for some bad mofos to turn into some way bad mofos.
yeah. Realistically, it's just cool to see how the gods have basically split, and that there are some that just do not agree with Hera's plan, and that they all decide to join the fight in the same issue. I think that was really cool, the way that that was laid out. Um, Reinforcements are here, and I think this battle will be won by the heroes. I was gonna say won by the victors, but of course it will.
The victors
And
will definitely be the ones who've won it,
yeah, it's not
for
like it's being
sure.
won by the losers. Uh, so I did write down about Ares. We did call it, but I honestly I want to say that a lot of people did. I don't know, but we definitely did call Ares last issue, if not the issue before. I'm excited to see what he could bring to the table. Like I mentioned already, who better to fight a war than the God of War himself? Um, and I
What
want
does
to
he bring
actually
to the table? A
go.
giant fucking axe.
Damn, Skippy. I want to go back though and maybe look up a wiki, because I wouldn't even know where to begin looking at issues, where to find the recent stories featuring Ares, what his timeline is in terms of Wonder Woman stories, because he's been like, he at one point Diana was the God of War, because I wasn't too solid on that story. Did he die away, or did he just pass the power over to her, or what? Like, something happened. He disappeared, and numerous
You
things. I think
know,
he was
I'm
killed a couple of times.
I vaguely remember that, and for some reason I want to say that Ares died, but I
I
mean,
was thinking
again,
that too.
because comic books. I
Yeah,
can't say that for certain though, but for that sounds right,
yeah,
even though it's not reliable.
yeah. Like, we might find out next issue if Diana goes, Ares, but you're dead, and he'll be like, well, see, so are you. So
Right?
we'll find out.
We'll see
I
if it
hope. I hope we'll find out.
we'll see if it fixes her mood too, because early on she's so despondent about what she's done with the gods for the Amazons, and and what happened to man's world because of it, that she turns to Cheetah for comforting. That is
Yeah.
something you do not see every day.
No.
Um, the backup was, I think the backup was all right. Dialogue kind of sucked, but the story was pretty good.
I really felt like just like a through chapter. It was really
Yeah,
just a lot of fighting.
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
and just some cheesy generic words thrown in there
Yeah.
along the side. But yeah, something else. When that mouse showed up in Billy's jail cell,
Yeah.
like right off the bat, I just totally accepted it as a talking mouse.
Yeah.
I mean Shazam, right? Tony the
Exactly.
Tiger, Hoppy the Rabbit. Why not
Yeah.
Inmate Mouse?
Yeah.
I did you think that was somebody right off the bat, or did you just think that there was a talking mouse
I honestly, I agree. I just thought it was stalking mouse.
right off the bat? Talking
Yeah,
mouse. I was
because
like,
that's
oh,
that's
another one,
not even weird anymore.
right? They're gonna need their own
Billy
magical
was,
kingdom.
and now that you mention that, like Billy was kind of perturbed and surprised by it, but he also sent a talking rabbit to Mary. He should not be surprised by talking animals at this point.
Right?
Yeah,
It was
that's
like, whoa, I thought I was the one that did that. Oh, damn
yeah.
it.
Now,
Mary's stepping on my toes there, too.
speaking of Mary, do you remember where she last ended up in this story? Was that with no? I guess it was before. Last I remember, okay, she left Themyscira because of the portal that Hoppy made, and she ended up with Billy and Yara. But then
Mm.
where did she go? I thought she went to Mount Olympus with
Uh,
Billy and Yara.
no, she stayed behind for some reason. Now I'm gonna have to go back and read it though. She
Yeah.
stayed behind.
So I was kind of curious why she wasn't present here to help in the fight again in Washington.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Damn it. You always have the tough questions. I just never have the answers for you.
It's what I do best. I have very quick access to issue 2 right here. I'm going to go take a look myself. Unless it
All right.
happened in Wonder Woman, in which case that might take a little longer.
Uh, uh, while you're doing that, I'll just give my piece on this, man. At the very end of it, it says the war rages on and Wonder Woman. Why wasn't this whole thing in Wonder Woman? I mean, we didn't need any psychic milk or any of that bullshit going on. We could have had just a longer version of this story, and I don't see why we didn't. I did enjoy this tie in. I'm just not sure why this wasn't just the Wonder Woman book. Definitely don't understand why it's a Lazarus Planet tie-in and not maybe even just an event mini of its own. Um, but end of the day, really, really good story, and I would love it if Wonder Woman was placed into the hands of the very capable G. Willow Wilson. Um, I wouldn't mind this whole creative team on Wonder Woman for sure.
Yeah.
It ends with a big cliffhanger, and the story is done so well. It sucks that somebody else is gonna finish it, and that somebody is someone who doesn't have the greatest track record. Regardless, though, I think the mini was great, and this, as I guess what I will call a transitional issue, was right on the money. There were a few minor art issues. There were like two or three dialogue choices that I didn't like, but seriously, the issue was great. I hate that it doesn't have an ending within the mini, but I guess this is just what we do at DC now. So, what the fuck ever. Should I score the company on that idea? But seriously, I'm for this one anyway. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Needed better dialogue in the back.
Yeah. Fair enough. I give it an 8.25 out of 10. I agree with everything you said. It's right on the money there. Uh, really good to look at. A lot of it is very interesting to read, and some of it's exciting, but there is some dialogue that needs some work. Um, and I did find what happened with Mary. She actually ended up back in Philadelphia in issue 2 and not in Washington. Uh, she ended up where Billy was, and for some reason, monsters were attacking Philadelphia as well, which they
Yeah,
kind
so
of
she
just left
stayed behind.
behind to
Yeah,
to clean up the monsters there. And this is something I don't think I pointed out when we reviewed issue 2, and I really should have, but it was kind of bugging
what's
me
that?
that Billy had the vision from Hippolyta in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia and said you have to go to Washington to find somebody. and then it says the next day in Washington. Like a whole freaking day has passed, and Mary was just left fighting monsters in Philadelphia by herself. While
Right.
Billy took a bus halfway across the country. um,
Let's take the scenic route, shall
yeah,
we?
right.
I got all the
And that
time in
was
the world. Don't
actually
worry
that was
about
the
it.
last
Mary's
time
gonna
we
be
saw
okay.
Mary in the story. Which what the hell, man? You'd think she would at least show up for the final fight, but maybe she'll show up in the next issue. I don't know. I don't know. That kind of
Obviously,
bugs me.
this is not the final fight, so
No. Right. So yeah, 8.25 out of 10. We've given our scores. That
yes,
is
we have.
that. And with that, I guess we'll get into our top three books of the week
Woo
and favorite
woo.
moment if you had one. Uh, you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Since you asked, I could only oblige. In third place, Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods. It was a great story, even if it kind of pisses me off that it had its own event and then didn't end in it. Number two is Batman Inc. That shit is getting slick, man. I like it. And number one, Wildcats, man. This is just a ride. Way easily one of my favorite titles over the past year, and it's only 6 issues in. I highly recommend it to everybody. Uh, I had two favorite moments this week with such few books that almost feels like with so few books that almost feels like cheating. But Lazarus Planet, Revenge of the Gods. Hecate is the one that sent Billy the vision that sent him to Olympus eventually, but did so thinking that he might do anything other than storm the front gates. What the fuck was she thinking? I mean, Yara Flor, known as the Wonder Woman with attitude, and a little kid are gonna come up with some brilliant, stealthy battle plan. I mean, I think that's on her. Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
that's a good point.
and then not a specific moment, but it's something that bears mentioning, man. It's I absolutely love this about the Wildcats. They how especially in this issue it revolved around most of the team hating their names. Grifter, Ladytron, Zealot. I mean, they get really pissed off if you call them by their name. I just
Yeah,
find that funny as hell for some reason, so I wanted to throw that in there on top.
that's fair. No, that's yeah, I find that very funny too, especially Lady Tron. Just can't. She threatens to kill everyone.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And she looks like she'll enjoy doing it too.
Oh God, yeah. And then do obscene things to your corpse.
Yeah, like she threatened death blows. She said I could upload you into Spartan or put you in my personal massager.
Yep. Yeah. What a messed
I
up book. I
fucking
love it.
love this book.
Yeah. um. So I won't even bury the lead there. Number one for me is Wildcats number six right away. I agree. It's a hell of a title. Number two, I guess I'll go in reverse order. Batman Inc. number seven. It's just a bit more interesting this week than others. And at number three, just beating out Revenge of the Gods. Number three is Superman Lost. Number two for being a bit more consistent and a bit more interesting than what we're getting. It's
It's a
actually
hell of
really
a book,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool concept, really cool art. I just love seeing things written by Priest. I really do.
Yep.
Yeah. Favorite moments. Honestly, the one I kept going back to was the group shot of I'll call them the Wonder Team fighting the gods in Washington. Once all seven of them finally amassed together, I do love a brief pause moment right before a battle and seeing everyone posing. I love that little pose moment. Uh, Guilty pleasure of mine,
Of
because I know a lot of people
course.
think they're kind of cliche and dumb, but I love them.
No, hell
And
no. That
this,
gives you something to have as a poster.
exactly, yeah. Like there's that. There's Avengers Endgame when they all posed before when they finally all came back together before they fought Thanos' army. There's There was another one on my mind, and now I don't remember. Oh, people hate me for this, but Secret Invasion, that final pose before the big fight in issue 7 is a very guilty pleasure of mine, and a lot of people think it's the stupidest line in existence, but I think Nick Fury screaming "My God has a hammer" was fucking hilarious.
Hell yeah, it was, dude. That shit
Yeah,
was great.
yeah. So shots like that definitely one of my favorite moments in all of comics, and this is no different. All right, but that was our favorite moments. Now it's time for your favorite moments. Honestly, should we even bother?
No, I mean, man, even the honorable mentions this week were fucking really good. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna put Dangerous Street on here because it's Tom King, and I just don't like the way he writes.
fair.
But with everything else just being, I mean, fan fucking tastic, really.
Yeah,
I guess excuse the past, but I have no gas. There is no
same.
biggest stinker.
There is, yeah. We're we're passing it on this week. To be fair, it's also a very
or
small week,
or
so
maybe
there's
we're
there's not
not.
much room for margin of error. Like it's there's like
Well,
seven
shit, we
books
had
total.
what, five different honorable mentions, and we always include those.
Yeah,
I'm double
and
checking
they're
right now, but yeah, one, two, three, four, five, and all of those were really good, man.
yeah. I can't even say what the weakest one would be because I don't think there is a weakest one. They're all really interesting. Yeah,
Danger Street. If I had to pick one, it's gonna be Danger
yeah.
Street.
Danger Street. Yeah, I will definitely pass judgment on Danger Street when I get to it. Now that Human Target is done, I need to find the time to go back and read those 12 issues in one sitting. Well, we'll
have
see
you
how that
uh,
goes.
have you gotten into the Nightmare Country at all?
No, no, that's something I gotta get into. Sandman was not a book I've gotten into at all, so I've passed on this for now. But it's something I'm interested in. I just need to find the time to get into that. There's a lot of books in the past I want to get to.
There is. I want to say that Nightmare Country, for at least now, is going to kind of be its own thing, and
Oh,
then
okay, fair enough.
so there's Nightmare Country, The Glass House, and then Nightmare Country that just came out before the last series. Um, Both of those are fantastic, and Dead Boy Detectives. I love that one.
Oh yeah, I remember the first couple of pages of that. Yeah, that that was not one to read when you're already feeling sick.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. I forgot about that.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, I
So
had
did
to
I.
put it down.
Yeah. All right.
Whoops.
Any last minute tangents to go on? Uh, Finishing thoughts, closing arguments.
Closing arguments. No, sir. No.
No.
Thanks for giving me a great week in comics, DC.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, oh. While we're here and on the air, I haven't talked to people about this in a while. Have you been reading Saga?
I have. I read
Like
Saga
recent Saga? Yeah.
faithfully.
Yeah, it's been over a week since the last issue came out, so I think it's safe enough to talk about it. Where the hell do you think this is going to go?
I
Because
have
they're
no fucking clue.
like, yeah,
I have
that's
no
been the
clue.
shtick with Saga for a while. It does feel a bit like this plot they have going on with Hazel and Squire is kind of feels
Never
like
ending.
filler in a way, which is really weird. But you know it's got to go to something eventually.
Yeah, and you know that they've got no end game. They have no number that they have to pick. There's no specific amount of issues that they have to stay within because it's literally saga.
Oh no, they said they're going like 128.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they
Ooh.
they finished off at what was it 54, I think, was the last issue before they took that few years break. They said that was the halfway point. That was 50% of the way through.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're looking at another like 54 issues, which is
Fuck yeah.
it's still a lot of story to cover. But they know that this is the halfway point of the story. And
Off topic on this
shit,
one
man.
too, but Fables is just delicious.
That's another one I wish I got into when it started, and I need to like
You don't even have
binge.
to though. You don't.
No, I know. I just wish I
For
did.
a fan that has read the majority of the first 150, you're going to
Yeah.
appreciate a lot of little things. But you can come in at 151, having never read anything Fables before, and you will be fine.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta
And
get on
man,
that.
Fables is such a crazy ride. Saga too, but in a totally different way.
Yeah. I've been getting Angela to read Saga. As my dad had the compendium with the first half of the first like all the issues that had come out at the time, all 54 in one
Wow.
gigantic book. And I've been getting her to read it, and she's finally gotten to the last trade, volume 9, and she's a couple issues in, and I'm just waiting for her to get to that last page of issue 54. And I can't wait to see her reaction. And I'm so tempted to say, eh?
Are you gonna make her read it in front of you?
Oh hell yeah, yeah,
That's what I would do.
yeah. Because
I
I
would
want
say
to
wait
see.
until it. Yeah, it's like hey babe. When you get to page 41, stop, and then I want to read the rest with you.
Yeah. I have kind of let on that Saga at this point, anything can happen. Surprises come out of nowhere, and the end of 54, I talked about it for the few years it was off to her. Like, I can't wait for
Or I
this book
said
to come
41.
back.
I meant 51.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it just ended on such a cliffhanger. It was like out of nowhere, such a shock. I have not let on at all what it could be, but she knows, knowing Saga, that there's something. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so tempted that when she gets to it and she finishes this, to make her wait 3 years before she continues with issue 55, just to feel
That
the
is
pain the
just
rest of us felt.
cruel. Rob. That is horrible.
It
How
is,
could
but
you
like,
how could you rob someone of immediate gratification?
yeah. I mean, technically, we still haven't really had it, because issue 55 picked up and just went in a completely new direction. And they reference the events of issue 54, but not to the degree we were all thinking they would. Uh,
Well, as of yet.
as of yet, yeah. I mean, we're up to, I think, 65 just, or 63 just came out. And it's definitely going places, but we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
what
63
happens.
just came out.
Yeah. Uh, God, what a series. What a fucking series. It's been fun, though, watching her read it and, like, see all the interesting moments that happen and the fun characters. Goose, Isabel. Oh, man. I miss them all.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, before this podcast turns into a saga of its own,
Exactly.
I suppose we should probably wrap things up here.
We definitely should. And that being said, that's our show. And remember, you can help support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews, articles, and more. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time, be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.